Welcome back to another video for this series. Today we're going to do threat intelligence and threat gathering concepts. So uh, let's talk about collection methods and sources before we get into the exercise. So information like news stories, magazines, well, when magazines were a thing, user uploaded videos, photographs on social media, right? Blogs, forums, etc. Anything where you can get them deep web, dark web, searches of all examples of sources that can be used in open source intelligence, right? So the use of it is both governmental and it's used in both governmental and private investigations, right? So at the rate which new data is generated increases exponentially, right? The more technology gets faster and more expensive, right? It's more crucial than ever that analysts develop effective strategies for locating, cataloging, and analyzing the data at their disposal. So you can look all over the internet for readily available information that anyone can access. And accessing this data at also leaves no trace that could be used to figure out what happened, right? So it's important for organizations to kind of limit their digital footprint to an extent which can expose the company to cyber attack or some social engineering potentially that could lead to a cyber attack, right? So exposure of priority information, right, like executive email addresses or phone numbers, employee names, and in-depth about pages, which is kind of perplexing to me just a bit about LinkedIn. In hindsight now, not initially, but LinkedIn saying that they were going to now verify, someone's employer on their page, that could lead to a whole other sort of things. But I'm not going to get too much into that. Right now, we're just going to get into our first task, which is going to be just a general knowing about open source intelligence, right? So we're just going to explore a few different websites and look for potential pieces of information, right, that's being shared that some threat actors may be interested in for various reasons, right? So some information may be, if you deem it necessary, it might be because customers may need to contact someone. Some of the information just may be someone oversharing. It can be used to further research and find information on the company that a malactor may be looking into, or and its employees as well. So I'm just going to open up the Edge browser. Then we're going to head to the site here. This moves out of my way. So we see the ACI learning webpage that's displayed, right? And let me accept this here. All right, so we scroll down through the page, we can review some of their information, right? You can see that it's a multifaceted premium tech training company, right? Fortify your cybersecurity skills, boost morale and culture, stay compliant with regs and stands, maybe some GRC work. And then we have under, let's see, should be under, there it is. Under here, where you have, let's see, they talk about practice labs or training rather, and a few other things, right? So actually, let me click on here. It may take me to a section of what the company actually does. So perfect. All right, so it'll give me a bit more information, and then actually I can scroll down to the bottom here, and I can click on leadership. So on the leadership page, right, we can view members that actually make up for the management of ACI, right? We have Brett, we have Ann, we have Tom, John, Tim, Philip. They have their LinkedIn profiles linked here as well. Threat actors can actually use this page for web and social media searches to formulate social engineering attacks, right? So now let me go to contact here at the bottom. So we have the contact page, right? So now we see the address and the phone number. Let me see. Should be able to. Just doing this earlier. Let's see. Just start back from here. but nonetheless, it's on the website here. I don't want to take too much longer while it's trying to load and do what it's supposed to be doing. But you can also view the full addresses they have here on this website and phone numbers for each of the learning locations, right? So if we click on here, then let's see, developer, right? Then let's see, element, I think it's here. If it runs, all right, perfect. So now we see the HTML code for the website, right? So analysts can use dev tools primarily for the detection of bugs, the execution of instructions, right? And the verification of variable values and so on and so forth. So there are flaws in the code. It can reveal some unwanted information and present a vulnerability, right? For folks that are looking. So just want to close that here. Just wanted to show that. I'm just going to leave this window open. So we can actually work with a couple of OSINT tools as well, not just going to a website to look at information. There are actually actual tools we can get our hands on to assist us with a more broader search for specific items that we want, or to even better collect data, right, on something or someone. So working with it, it's just a manual process of researching and uncovering user information. It can be time consuming. So these tools help reduce that time frame that it would take researching by automating the process a bit, right? So some tools are free to use, others may offer free trial, right? So they can see the benefits and the power of the product. And the benefit to paid service is usually increased customability, ease of integration, right? And reduce non-essential information, right? So I'm gonna actually take a look at some popular OSINT tools. Let's see, we're on the right server. Yeah, we're good. So let me add a tab here. Then let's see, way back. Archive. All right, perfect. Now I'm just going to, let me copy this. Perfect. So as we can see here, the site was saved a total of 5,785 times over the span of 12 years. Actually 12 and nearly 13 years, actually, because we're just shy of a month and a half, or a month and change rather. But let me click on 2011 here. Let's see, let's start from where it started. So let's actually, let me click and show. Okay. All right, perfect. So it's still loaded for me. Actually, get out of the way here. All right, perfect. So February 2nd, 2011, right? And then we should be able to click. Actually, this is not what I wanted. Well, this is actually, that's fine. Let's see, because it should, there it is. All right, perfect. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's all right. So now we can access the site snapshot from that day, right? So this is how the website used to look, and what who used to own the ACI learning domain, which is Arlington Career Institute, right? Before it became ACI Learning, to what it is that we see here as far as a tech academy with different enterprises and partnerships that it works with. So now I'm just going to, now that I've shown that, now we can take a look at here. And I mean, just to expand on that, I mean, threat actors can use that to their advantage, coming up with some sort of social engineering with that. If they find, let's say, if they find someone who's been with the company that long, and then they can develop some sort of, I don't know, conversation on, hey, I remember you guys used to be XYZ, and then say, hey, I used to be a client, or some type of a conversation that would strike up to have some social engineering done to do whatever it is they're trying to do as far as any bad acting, right? So as you can see, I entered in a new website, right? Originally I put in spiderfoot.net, but now the Intel 471 website is displayed here. So now, actually, let me accept these cookies. So you can see the site houses several products that help with cybersecurity needs, right? So let's see. Let me scroll down here. Attack, surface discovery. Take a look at what that does. Let me move this guy out the way too. Now we can see that. Let's see. So now we can see that it shows us that the application uses over 200 OSINT sources, right, to map out an organization's digital footprint. This could be a very, very useful tool for an analyst to speed up the research process, right? Let me show you another tool. So let's see, if I can spell. Then actually I can paste that. All right, perfect. So now we see that the domain ACI learning has been found. And if we scroll down the page, we can see different companies and technologies that ACI that they're associated with, right? So if we click on the detailed technology profile tab, this is a free feature that's, you know, 110 views a day usually. Perfect. All right, so information about the company from when it was first detected using the service and when they used it last is also available, which is part of the free service that they offer. Let's see. Let me, okay, that's fine, whatever. But each service can be clicked on to find out about it. So if I click on the relationship tab here, let's see. Darn it. Actually, I can log in just a second. All right, so I signed up for a free profile and I'm logged in, and now we can see what's on the relationship tab. So we can see the history of items like search tags and the website associated and even the IP address that's associated with the URL. So let's take a look at the redirect tab, actually. So let's see if we go here. So we can actually see a few things. We can see where the internet traffic gets redirected to when accessing aspects of the website. And if we click company here, right, then we can take a look at, let's see, company page now displayed the address, telephone, their global footprint, their web technology, how much they spent on it. Let's see. So we could pretty much see active worldwide organizational information, right, and how they use their technologies over time. And with the technology consolidation and the decreasing spend, which is not good. But nonetheless, we're going to move on to another tool. So we can actually take a look at this one. Let's see. That's the one here. I'm just trying to put. All right, perfect. So we can do this one here. And I'm definitely not going to sign up. Here's the daily limit. But nonetheless, I'm not going to sign up for another account. But nonetheless, we can see there's another tool that we can use for OSINT, right? It would give us a link to discover information that would be given, pretty similar to the previous tools that we use. But with this one, it's a little bit of a different variation of the data that we can see, right? So we can see logs, text files, Excel files, CSV files, and information, other information that's available to gather their info, right? So for one of the last ones we're going to use, let's go into this one. Should change to another name, all right? And then ACI. So it's a popular internet registry, whois.com, that shows who owns the domain, how to contact them, and information about the website and the servers that house them, right? So nothing comes back. Let me search again. Weird. But that's fine. If it shows up unavailable or nothing comes up, then that means the URL is taken that we played in there. So let's see. Should still show something. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. Actually, you know what? I think I've entered it in the wrong. There it is. All right, perfect. So now we can see the site license when it was created and when it expires, tons of DNS information, right? Administrative, technical contacts, and other information about the website, right? So there's another, that's just another website. Let's see here. We could do, and then here. Perfect. So this allows users, whoever logs onto the website or former site, more insight about a site that they placed into the search tab, right? So it gives general information like a rundown, pretty much of what the organization that the website, what the organization does that the website has, right? And if we click on stats and details, it'll give us traffic rank, reach day, the month average daily reach, right? And the month average page views per user. It's like it's going down a bit. And then we can actually expand this to, that's us. All right, so it gives us a bit more info, right? We can see, let's see who is, to expand that. Oh, so it gives us the CIDR, the organization name, going to Amazon Technologies. So yeah, that's another tool we can use. This one here, and then of course I accept. And then looks like it's still loading. Now, for some reason that didn't load, but you get the point, right? As far as so many different tools, there's so many others that I haven't even gotten to. Application tools that also can be used, not just web applications, but for research for OSINT to do proper threat intelligence research, or if you're someone doing bad things. But you can we can actually notice searches from. Let's see. Actually, you know what? Let me find another way. Don't swear. There it is. I was going to another way, but that's fine. That'll work. So if we notice the this should load. No, that's not what I want to do. Should load a few things for us. Mainly, so with this while it's loading, it should give us a rundown of like posts from a few different social media websites like Facebook and a few others. Let's see. Yep, LinkedIn, Zoom, their own website, IT Pro TV, and a bit more, right? So this very valuable tool can demonstrate oversharing information, right, in a quick and easy search, right? So account monitoring can be enabled, so admins can be notified if no posts are created on acilearning.com, right? So those are all the tools, right? Now, this allows us to get into our next exercise, which is going to emphasize on threat intelligence, hunting, and sharing, right? So threat hunting, it's just as a means of looking for cyber attacks, right? And APTs, right? Advanced persistent threats. And threat hunting is more of a deep search for the trail that's left by an individual who may have broken into a network and could be a potential threat. Now, After getting into a network, an attacker who can stay there for months gathering data, looking for confidential info, or getting login credentials, right, that let them pivot and move laterally across the environment, or maybe even try some privilege escalation, right? Once an attacker has avoided being found and gotten through an organization's defenses, many organizations don't have the advanced detection tools, unfortunately, needed to stop persistent threats for staying in the network. So threat hunting should be an incorporated part of any defense plan, and companies try to keep up with the latest cyber threats. Well, some of them do, and are ready to respond quickly to any potential cyber attacks, right? So there's a lot of information really to sift through for just one computer, now consider a network. So cyber professionals just have to look for IOCs, right? Which are bits of trace evidence that can be investigated to detect possible malicious activities on the system's network, right? System or network, rather, so such as data contained in a system log of entries or files, right? Like looking at a website. And the previous exercise that we did, this can be a manual process or be aided by tools to look for those indicators of compromise. But like privilege escalation, as I mentioned, unusual network traffic, increased access to files and databases, right? So unusual DNS activity, signs of DOS or DDoS activity, unusual IP address activity, log clearing, and anything of that nature. But what we're going to do now, after that brief explanation of threat hunting and a bit of sharing, right? What the potential consequences of that would be. We're going to do a bit of employing incident response using the SIEM tool. So the term incident response kind of refers to the steps taken by an organization after a privacy breach or cyber attack, like ransomware or anything like that. The end objective of incident response is just to reduce the damage, right? Minimize recovery time and expenses, of course, first and foremost, and prevent any secondary effects like ruined brand reputation. We just recently saw a few attacks from casinos. Some folks now, some customers or potential customers may be a bit leery about shopping with these particular brands, right? Xfinity had just mentioned that they had a breach. There was another breach, I believe, by Ubisoft as well. So you just want to make sure you're careful and you have the right configurations and right folks on the team that are looking for those IOCs to make sure that they can minimize all the potential consequences, right? If it has to be reported, right? So employees, you kind of want to make sure you have a business to have a well-defined incident response strategy. So employees can go to this plan, which is normally what's called a playbook, right? For clarity and direction on how to proceed when an event happens. So you want to have like training exercises involving teams, workers, and leaders who oversee the incident response program and carry out each action that's involved in the playbook. So I'm going to take a look at a little bit of that. Now, let's see. So let me reopen Microsoft Edge. Then we're going to get to Microsoft Sentinel. So let's see. Micro, if I can spell. All right. Let's see here. Should be able to there. I don't think this is it. Okay. Yeah, so what I'm looking for is Microsoft Sentinel, which is a feature offered by the Azure Cloud by way of Microsoft. So bear with me a second while I get that pulled up here. All right, so I have it located here as far as the Sentinel, and you can create a pay-as-you-go. AWS has a pretty similar process as well as far as cloud cloud accounts, and you can also try it for free. Now, I want to also note that advancements in SIEM technology, right, have enabled faster and faster accurate detection of threats and responses to incidents through the use of AI. And we can get a general idea of pricing per user and other highlights using the SIEM, right? So, but with like Microsoft There are other SIEM options available to help analyze the logs and traffic of the network to cut down manual analysis, right? We want things to be more efficient, right? So these are typically going to be paid services, however, due to heavy investment and time by the program creators, right? So I'm just going to keep this open. And now just going to, now that we have the Sentinel displayed, just going to get into using a honeypot tool. So let's talk about what a honeypot is first. So it's a hardened system connected to a network, right? And it's set up to trick and catch a threat actor, right? Trying to get into information systems without permission. So the job of the honeypot is to show up on the internet as a possible target for attackers, right? Usually a server or high value asset, collect information and let defenders know when unauthorized users try to get into the honeypot, right? So large businesses and companies researching cybersecurity often use honeypots to find and defend against attackers from APTs and to actively defend themselves from attackers, right? Major enterprises often employ plenty of honeypots, and they're very useful for researchers who are interested in learning more about the techniques and procedures used by attackers as well. So let me open up a new tab here and let's do this. Let's see, threat map. And we should be, there we go, perfect. Now we can see more of the, there we go, real time. Yep. Let's just still load. Should still load. All right, so for some reason there's an issue with the site for the real-time attack map, but typically it would have a map that showed the number of attacks that happen that are happening every minute across the globe, and it shows you the region where the attacks are happening as well. Now, if we also click on bi-weekly reports for as far as all discovered traffic, we'll see the page of all the different reports that are shown. Now, actually, click on one here for that one. Now, when the report opens, then we can see the information as far as the time frame, right, and the type of attacks here. Let's see. Yeah, so the type of attacks that were performed and the stats about attacking countries and more. And you can view a bit more about the report. So the map that I was just mentioning, as far as real-time attack maps, it looks something like this, as far as where those attacks are happening. This actually looks very similar to what I see the time whenever I check the site. But I'll just click back here, and then we can actually, you know what? Go to here, data sets. Now, the build of the HoneyNet is shown right here, and it gives us an understanding of the equipment that's used, right, as far as the Docker Compose, and the net installer, and the Honey platform, and the Elastic Stack, and IDS, and all of these different components here, as far as the equipment that's used, right? And actually, let me go back again to take a look at even more of the behind the scenes, I guess. So we see a list of the tested software here, as far as the Teapot, Cowrie, the Conpot, Artillery, and different other tools that could be used. So we can use this here. So it tells us, you know, bot social software, Brute, ClearLock, as far as any attacker software that they're mostly using, right, that are listed. And I'm just going to just close that tab as far as honeypot here. All right, so now we're just going to talk about using MITRE ATT&CK to identify tactics, techniques, and procedures, right? So a lot of professional cyber professionals, they use the term TTPs to describe the process I just mentioned, as far as what a threat actor uses to create threats and launch cyber attacks, right? So the attackers are the main goals and the general plans that the threat actor used to carry out the cyber attack. And attackers are the attack's main goals and the general plans that the threat actor uses to carry out the attack. So for instance, the threat actor may want to break into a website to steal PII about customers, right? I believe this just happened not too long ago at a hospital, if I remember correctly. But the techniques describe how the attacker did the attack, right? So like e-skimming or cross-site scripting, procedures that refer to creating a step-by-step explanation of how the attack was put together as well, to including the tools and the methods that were used. But most of the time, the cyber professionals use the steps of an attack to build an account or signature for a threat actor or a threat group as part of like a security program info. So they know the TTPs of an attacker, right, to identify them. So let's actually head to the MITRE ATT&CK, get some info about it. And click there. So this attack page is just a repository of data detailing the methods and the techniques for APTs for those organizations that have employed in actual intrusions. And ATT&CK actually is an acronym. So it's adversarial tactics, techniques, and common knowledge. So it's a compilation of in-depth accounts of threat actors' observed tactics and the techniques and procedures. So let's actually click on a few of these here. And let me see if something will load for us. No, I have to click on this side. So click there for reconnaissance. So the reconnaissance category, right? So we see a breakdown of the techniques used in the reconnaissance phase, right? So active scanning, scanning IP blocks, full scanning, Victor host information, hardware. We can actually click, let me click on the first here. So now it just pretty much tells us what the active scanning is, how to detect it, and how to mitigate it. And we can review any other techniques on this website as well. So any of these you can just click on. That's available at any time at the website. So actually, let's see. No, take a look at tactics now, right? And then, so pretty much similar as far as the tactics that threat actors use. Let's look at privilege escalation. All right, as I mentioned earlier. So it pretty much just gives us a definition of consistent techniques that adversaries use to gain higher level permissions on a system or network, right? And there are typically 13 techniques and listed with subcategories for each, right? And we can see the mitigation recommended and how to detect and act through the abuse, let's see, the abuse elevation control mechanism. Let's see, where is it here? Actually, you know what? It might be still in reconnaissance. Yeah, I'm not saying it, but last time I was here, I believe I saw it. Well, these labs aren't perfect, but nonetheless, that's typically, it's not here. Nonetheless, that's I really, yep, there it is. All right, let's get it back up and running. That's fine. I'll just move on to the next task anyway. So now we're going to move on to access to research for logs using the Windows Event Viewer. So I'll have to get over to, I was going to use the server manager, but I'll just use this here. Let's open this puppy up. Security. Now in the security tab, I can see potential threats. I can look for potential threats to security events like authentication, right? Let me actually open this up. I can do it that way. So let's see here. So actually, you know what? to take a look at something, I can here. I'm going to look for 4625. So there it is. Perfect. So there it is. So I found the using the define action under there. So now I can just take a look at it as far as the details of this one. Actually, let me go here. Is there a way to open this up a bit more? I don't think so. All right, so the information displayed, it just pretty much describes the event, right? So the date and time that the login attempt failed. So let me go here. Created all of that. All right. The computer that was used, the user account that was used, the log on type, and why the login actually failed. And so many attempts and failures of logons can be the indication of a brute force and dictionary attacks, but that's how we were able to find that. So let's take actually a look for another one. Let's see, 4765. For some reason, that one isn't populating for us. Here, I think it would be in order. Must be, lab is going haywire on me again. Let's see. All right, 4765 should be here. All right, so 4765 isn't showing up for me, but typically, what it did, that event ID, as you can see here, 4672 and a plethora of others. 4765, that event is usually for SID history, for being added to an account, which means that it's an indicator of privilege abuse and malicious activity normally. So I use the search function, or the find function rather, to search for that particular one, but for some reason the lab isn't showing it. But nonetheless, you can search for different types of event IDs that are available on the Microsoft website, and scripting and third-party monitoring tools can alert cyber professionals to these events occurring and cut down on some of the false positives and lies that can occur. So actually, I'm going to close all of this out. And now we're going to get into one of the last things that we're going to do is enable firewall logging. So some insight into network activity may be gained by reviewing firewall logs. You can watch your firewall's activities, verify the effectiveness of the rules that you have in place, and the configurations, and investigate any security breaches, right? So the feature isn't usually enabled automatically, so it does need to be turned on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to access the domains group policy by turning on the firewall logging. So let's bring up the server dashboard, server management dashboard, and then we're going to head to tools, and group policy management. Here it is. All right, so open this copy up here. Group policy. No, let's see. That's up. That's what I'm looking for. Default. That's what I'm looking for. All right, let's see, edit. All right, so let's see, let's open this up here, and then administrative templates, network. Let's see, And then domain profile. There it is. Login. All right, perfect. So we're almost good to go. So just going to select the enabled options, and then I'm going to tick for the log drop packets and successful connections as well. And there are additional options that can be selected below. Shouldn't be messing with this, but that's fine. And we can also review the help pane as far as any additional information pertaining to this action. But we're not going to review that. We're just going to click OK. Actually apply, then OK. All right. So now we see that the logging, if I open it up, that it has the state has been changed to enabled. It doesn't say not configured like the rest of those do now. So it's going to close the management editor window and also the group policy management. And I probably should. Actually, I may need server management. Nope. No, that's fine. We're pretty much done. So this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Again, just for a brief recap, we went over threat intelligence and gathering information. Those threat gathering concepts. So we've done some collection methods and sources. We talked about threat intelligence hunting and sharing. And we've also worked with OSINT tools, employed incident response using SIEM. We looked at some honeypot tools, some MITRE ATT&CK to identify tactics, techniques, and procedures. And we also done some enable firewall logging as far as a few of the things that we did do. And I can't wait to see you in the next video when we are going to go over techniques to determine malicious activity. And I'll see you then.